Hey, Doug. So we just got off a pretty awesome call, let's just say. Um and we were talking about what was that call about? Tell us a little bit about what you heard.
Yeah, about tokenizing real estate securities and the plausibilities of the future of basically liquefying real estate. If you really think about it, to be able to take a real estate and fractionalize it into tokens and then be able to distribute those and utilize secondary markets for lending and the sale of, dispo of, and the just the tradability of a token from peer to peer or from investor to investor, rather than altering a operating agreement and getting permission from general partners in JVs, right? It
So many things.
Yeah, basically it's just streamlines everything. Basically, it just makes everything so more operator friendly.
Well, and you know what I took away from it, it was like it essentially allows us to trade, to buy and sell real estate like we buy and sell stocks.
Yeah, it almost mirrors the REIT, if you think about it. Except it's just, instead of being traded on the exchange, it's the there's more avenues to trade. You know what I mean? It's not just on an exchange and NYSE or whatever they participate in. It's any sort of DEX or centralized exchange. Hopefully they go into DEXs, because remember they're talking about going into DEXs, and that's crazy.
Like an automated market maker, essentially. So like you don't need to rely on a centralized entity. I mean, we use a lot of words in the Whale Club that I know that a lot of people outside of this like don't know what we're saying, right? So when we say centralized entity and all this type of stuff, we essentially mean like we don't have to use banks. We don't have to use traditional methods of buying real estate. We can take an asset, you got a $10 million multifamily unit. We can chop that into a bunch of shares. We call those tokens, and we can sell them so that people can buy real estate with a couple $1,000s, with $10,000, $25,000, right? It's like, and then you can buy and sell. So you can get in for a short amount of time. It's totally liquid, like you're saying, and we can just turn around and sell it, the next day if we wanted to.
Yeah. It really does open up the market to a smaller investor, because usually, we're putting down some pretty big money down for, commercial loans and whatnot. This opens up a whole new door to someone even with like $100, right? And wants to invest and buy a token and participate in that upside. So, and the more
Well, and
people,
not just that, but you can buy into multiple projects across multiple different types of asset classes. So if you want to own a multifamily in Dallas and you want to invest in an industrial in the Southeast, and maybe there's, mobile home park, maybe it's a single family rental fund, luxury Airbnbs. I mean, like literally the options are endless.
yeah, it really diversifies. I mean, yeah, the options are endless, and I'm so excited. I can't even believe it. I
Man,
mean,
we're like literally at the bleeding edge. We say this all the time in the Whale Club. Nobody's doing this. This is not being done. And we're pioneering it. How cool is that?
yeah, and the pioneers always make the most money and do the biggest things. You know what I mean? Because they're going to eventually have the most experience, and they're going to be the leaders in the industry. That's why I'm so stoked to be with you, man.
Well, we can't do it without each other, right? We're kind of learning as a collective group. So, oh, it's just so much fun, man. I love it. So anyways, if you guys want to learn more about tokenizing real estate, stick around. This is really where our focus is right now. I mean, Doug, I know you're working on the white paper with Ryan and a bunch of the folks in the club. Basically, we want to educate the entire real estate market on what is coming. The first application we're publishing is on real estate tokenization. We want to educate people on what this is and why we think it's just a absolute game changer to the real estate investing space.
Cutting edge.
Yeah.